YouTube, what is up? We are back with another day, and I gotta be honest, we busted out the foam roller today. We hit the good old I'm too sore to lift warm up today, where we put the foam roller on the ground and we flopped around like a fish for 15 minutes because I don't think I have been this sore in a long time. Those squats and deadlifts have absolutely torched my legs, and we are absolutely feeling it today, boys. But the gain strain stops for no one, and we're gonna get after it again today. Today, we got some acceleration sprints, and we're gonna join in on Will Rattel's little 10x10 fly 10 challenge, a 10-yard build into a 10-yard fly, trying to beat their times. I think he had a 10.77 today, which is fucking flying. Blaine has a 1.05, and I don't think Tim Riley has answered a call to the challenge yet. I have not seen it, but maybe I'm just missing it. But we're gonna join in on that fun today, and we'll rip again next week when we're a little bit fresher, but we'll get a baseline mark today. And that's how you do every before and after. You run the first one, you run it before when you're really sore and really beat up, so that your after looks amazing, and it makes it look like you know how to program. So that's sports science 101 right there. Just finished up with a bunch of sprint warm-ups. We had some build-ups with the big ball that I'm currently sitting on right here. Give you a little, oh, look at that thirst trap right there. Big ball, we're gonna run some sprints with the big ball today too. Then we had some gallops, then some rapid line hops, and finished up with some iso lunges, some hangs. Pretty simple warm up. Now let's get after some sprints, let's go. All right, so to start today, we're gonna run 3 to 5 10-yard sprints with this big ball here. Like the big ball, when you get that hug, gets a little bit of rotation into the upper body. Big hug here, lets everything kind of rotate, feels really nice. Good little warm up series. And honestly, my legs are so sore that I feel like I'm not gonna bring a ton of intent to these sprints if I don't make it a little bit fun. So we got 3 to 5 of these, might add some variations with the big ball. Then we're gonna run a 10-yard build into a 10-yard fly and race Will and see how we do. Let's get it. Ooh. Oh yeah, we are flying there, 1.732. We better open up from there, holy shit. Ooh. There we go, a little better, 1.665. Let's see if we can break into a low 1.6, a high 1.5. That'd be sick. 2 more here. All right, we're improving. 1.644. Let's do it on this last one. 1.59. Give me a 1.599. That's a pretty big jump. I think we got it in us. Maybe we throw Zin in. We put the hair up a little bit. Become a little bit more aerodynamic. Let's get it. All right, hair is up. Zin is in. Let's see if we can bust this out. Let's go. Ah! Goddamn, 1.633. Still PR on the big ball sprints. Almost knocked my hat out there. Let's get to these flies here, see how we do. All right, now we got these fly 10s. Again, Will's record was a 1.077. Blaine's was a 1.05. If I break into the 1.0s, I'd be pretty happy with today, but we're gonna see how it goes. Probably gonna run 3 of these based off how it's feeling and send it from there. Let's get it. Oh, you're fucking me. 1.100. So we can break into the 1.0s today. That was a pretty good start. All right, to break the speed barrier, we're gonna put the hat on backwards. I think it's gonna make us more aerodynamic. But I love these little mini challenges. I think it's something really cool with the online training that Will does a really nice job of, especially competing with Blaine, which is just 2 absolute freaks. But it really shows you the power of just having a training partner, whether it's in person or online, just to give you some intent and some focus to do what you're doing, and it's pretty sick. So let's go to get a 1.09 here, let's go. Oh! It's gotta be it. That one felt significantly faster. Come on, baby, give me something. Motherfucker, the same exact time. You have actually got to be fucking me. 1.100, and I reset the clocks in between, so I know it's not the same. So I know it just didn't print the same time again. I'm gonna kill myself if we don't get a 1.09 here. Let's go. The final step, we're gonna have to take out the hat, and we're gonna rip without the hat here, see if the final step of aerodynamics works. Take a little weight off the head, maybe it'll help me accelerate. Let's get a 1.09, come on, baby. 1.101 as our best today. Decent little start to this 10x10 challenge. Next week we will break into the 1.09s. Let's go clean. All right, as if my body wasn't absolutely wrecked enough, we got another 4x3 day. This is the most volume I've done on a program in a long time with the least heavy amount of weight that I've done. So hopefully this work builds up into something good here. We got 4 sets of 3 at 275. We're listening to Papa Roach's Getting Away with Murder album. It is one of the best rock albums out there. If you haven't listened to it all the way through, like every single song is an absolute banger. 13-year-old Austin was rocking out to this album right before the bus got me. And we're going to channel some Papa Roach and get these reps here. 4 sets of 3. Let's go. Ooh. Ooh. Ah! God damn, I hope that gets lighter. Holy fuck, the laser shot. The absolute worst thing about being this sore is I'm too sore to be able to get it up into a power, but going into a full depth feels like my hamstring and ass cheeks are being ripped apart. So it's kind of a lose-lose here, but we're going to get this work done. Let's go. Oof. Oof. Ew. Gross. All right. Third set here. I was just listening to a podcast of a coach that I really respect, and he's a super, super smart coach and a guy that I thoroughly enjoy. So not going to name call here because I also say a lot of dumb shit on podcasts, and I say a lot of dumb shit in posts. Like when you're in the moment, you're just talking, you're flowing. A lot of times you're working on ideas when you're saying them, and that's one of the beauties of podcasts. Like, I really hate when you have a podcast with a coach that has all of their ideas set in stone, and they just kind of repeat the same script over and over again, and you can tell they're not actually thinking about the question that you asked them, but they're just reverting back to a script. And it's something that I see a lot in podcasts, especially having my own and guests that come on. You never really discover anything new in those podcasts. It's all just like perfectly packaged just so they sound the same in every single one, and I get that's a business model. It's just not what I'm interested in. But just I was listening to this coach talk about the dogma that is in strength conditioning, especially surrounded by heavy weightlifting, and how he believes that a lot of the reason people lift heavy weights is because of social media and the pressures of like having to lift weights in programs. And I'm not really faulting that idea. I think there's a lot of pressure on social media to do certain things. But like he countered this dogma with his own created dogma of like a scientific answer. And instead of like social media dogma, it was like exercise science book dogma and physics dogma. And I'm not against people having different beliefs or philosophies. I just think it's kind of something that coaches do a lot, and I'm sure I'm guilty of this myself, of calling out biases without realizing like you're just countering that bias with your own bias and countering that dogma with your own dogma. And I think as much crap as you can talk about meathead strength coaches that don't think enough about pushing the sports performance field, I think you can also talk the same amount of crap about a coach that is way too far in a book and like almost too smart for himself. And I've got myself in these rabbit holes. Not that I'm saying I'm too smart for the field at all. I'm an absolute dumbass. Just in the sense of like where I'm overthinking things, over-conceptualizing things, over-theorizing things. And I start to create these like realities in my head that aren't true realities. And you see this a lot with really deep thinkers in the field, to where they get so far pulled out of reality that is in front of them, in like the basics that are in front of them, that they kind of, again, create their own dogmas. It was just kind of an interesting point I saw on this podcast of this dude literally outsmarting himself on this point that he was making and talking in circles around, talking about people that talk in circles and talking in dogma against people that are talking in dogma. And I think it's just something we should pay attention to in the field, especially when we're talking about our own theories. Again, I'm not against at all pushing the field forward or experimenting with ideas. That's something that I love doing. I'm reading a book on Freud right now, and it's kind of like the history of all of his studies. And one of the things they continually mention is like everybody reverts back to Freud being the person that discovered all these things, and he breaks it down into all these scientists that actually took his main concepts that were like partially right, and they were creative, and they were new thought processes, and all these new scientists took those ideas, took these new thoughts, and came up with different ideas around them that were a little bit more factual and a little bit more reality-based. And I think that can be a role in a strength coach's life, and that's something that I kind of pride myself in wanting to do. And when I'm like listening to what Freud talks about, I relate in a sense, and again, I'm not relating myself to Freud and like his genius, just in the sense in there is power in creating new dogmas, there is power in creating new ideas and coming up with new things, but that does not make that new idea that much more correct than the old idea. It's just a new way of looking at things. And I think we have to be more all right with realizing there is correct in both ways. There's correct in both dogmas. There's correct in both biases. And there's also incorrect in both of these biases and both of these dogmas that people preach. And fighting one dogma and one bias because you think they have all the answers, you're like, the reason they're not right is because they think they have all the answers and they're 100% right. And then switching that around and being like, I am 100% right in my pursuit of knowledge. It's like, it's the same exact thing. It's the rebel rising to become the tyrant and kind of tricking yourself into thinking you know more than you know. And I think it's a trick the brain plays on us when we come up with new and creative ideas that do work. Again, there is correct in these new ideas and there is correct in the new dogmas. But that doesn't mean it's 100% correct, just like the old dogmas weren't 100% correct. And I think there's a little bit of gray in between the black and white that we should pay attention to, rather than trying to always outsmart ourselves and outsmart the field, so that we can all continue the pursuit of knowledge, rather than pretending like we have the knowledge like so many strength coaches do. And again, I am not saying I'm innocent of this by any means, but it is something I have to actively pay attention to on myself, otherwise I do fall in these traps. And it was just kind of a cool thought I had when I was listening to this podcast of a dude that I know was a genius, kind of tricking himself into thinking he's like too much of a genius. Not too much of a genius. He didn't have like an ego when he was saying these things. It was just like the matter-of-fact way that he was preaching the new dogma and the new way to do things over the old way to do things without really finding a gray there. And I think that's a trap that we all fall into and we should be aware of. All right, let's get this third set here. Let's go. One more set there, holy shit. All right, final set here. Let's man up and get it. Legs are dying. God damn. That was the cleanest of all 4 sets. Let's get some squats before we go to league. All right, we got like 10 minutes before league starts. We were pairing these with 4 sets of 5 pull-ups. Elbows are absolutely cooked, so those are not feeling great. And then 4 sets of 8 GHRs. We got 2 more sets of those. We got 4 more sets of squats. We're gonna try and get as many squats in as we can before we have to leave. We got 4 sets of 5 here on the squats with a 1-second pause at the bottom. Let's go. Let's go. All right, unfortunately, this is gonna be our last set of squats. Unfortunately, I should say. Probably saving my legs, but these are actually feeling much better than I thought they were going to. Didn't absolutely crush me as bad as they thought they were. Then we'll hit our last set of pull-ups, last set of GHRs, and we're gonna sprint the league because we're probably gonna be already 5 minutes late. So let's get after this, let's go. Let's freaking go. I have 2 pairs of these shorts because Amazon fucked up and sent me 2 of everything when I ordered these. And these are definitely not the clean pair. Little TMI, but every time I squat, I smell them. It's disgusting. Let's go finish up with GHRs and pull-ups. All right, we got our final set of pull-ups here. Doing no weights. The elbows are fucking cooked and tenderized. These do not feel the best, but we're gonna get this work in. Let's go. Let's go. Finish up with some GHRs. All right, final thing we got today, our 4 set of 8 of these back extensions. These have been absolute money in helping my pull and keeping that back fucking juicy. Let's go. Appreciate you guys watching. Good little work day. Let's go crush some balls at league. Keep chopping wood.